Hey there, Jayson here. How do we deal with assholes? How do we deal with biatches? How do we deal with people who are very, very difficult in our lives? I'm going to cover 4 tips that I think are going to help you a lot when dealing with difficult people at work, in your family, an ex-partner, people that you've worked with on some level, okay? And in case you haven't noticed, first, difficult people are everywhere. And you are probably one of them to someone in your life, right? Past or present. So we can't be like in this self-righteous position, I'm not difficult, and gosh, they're so difficult. When you do that, you're just making a really stupid mistake, basically assuming that you have no problems and other people don't have problems with you. So you're difficult, okay? Trust me. If you and I were married over 20 years, I would find out you are extremely difficult. And you would find out I'm extremely difficult, all right? This is a human thing. So that's the first principle here you got to understand about human behavior and human beings. Okay, tip 1, jerks or assholes are very predictable, okay? We only act surprised when they sort of come out of hiding and you stress test them. Something happens. Usually it's a stressful circumstance that brings out their asshole and they become very difficult. And it's like, whoa, hey, okay, you're kind of high maintenance. So stress will test anyone into having their true colors come out, okay? This is why in marriages, people start off great, and over many years, they turn not so great because they can't deal with each other because each other is being difficult. You're both being difficult, right? This is why in families, there's emotional and relational cutoffs because people get really locked in to their position and refuse to budge. So there's some kind of predictability here with assholes, all right, that it'll come out under stress, okay? Next, tip number two is jerks think that locking in their position so rigidly, right, they win and you lose. That's what they think. I win because I'm right and you lose because you're wrong. This is incredibly narrow-minded and simplistic when it comes to human beings. I'm right, you're wrong. It's sort of like the attorney that comes in to help with a marriage or a divorce rather. And the attorney who's a bigger bully bullies the other attorney to submitting, and they quote win, and the submissive attorney loses, right? So assholes actually think winning is the game. And when you play sports or cards or chess, yeah, it's win-lose. But when you're dealing with humans and relationships, especially if the stakes are high, win-lose is never a good outcome because it just suggests that you're kind of a narcissist and you're kind of that big of an asshole that you want to see other people lose and you win, all right? True winners understand that dialogue is winning. Getting the person to open their mind and open their heart to you is winning. So you got to decide, do I want to play the winning game, which is dialogue, all right, understanding humans and understanding myself in relationship to humans, or are you going to be a loser where you fight for win-lose? You know, it's kind of obvious. Okay. Winners are basically just playing a bigger game in life, okay? They're bigger people. They change the game entirely. Third tip, winners also understand that you lose when you ask the other person to change. When you say, you need to be different, your beliefs are wrong, your morals are wrong, your values are wrong, and mine are right, we're back in this kind of losing game, okay? So winners in relationships understand this principle that I'm not going to ask you to change. I might inspire you to change. I might invite you to change. I might collaborate with you so that we can change together to get a different outcome. But I'm not going to have it that the solution lies in your hands. Okay, that solution's outside of me. So long as you change, I feel better. you have the external locus of control there. And when people do that, this is incredibly childish, because this is what children do, right? They try to get their environment to change so that they feel okay. And it's a very smart adaptive strategy for children, but it's also kind of sad. So adults need to learn how to change the inside, right? Which leads into tip 4. If you're dealing with someone difficult in your life, a employee, a boss, a neighbor, that you use their difficulty to learn about yourself. Okay, this is winning. And because the more self-awareness you gain around your triggers, around why this person's so irritating for you, the more you become empowered, which is really awesome. And empowered people also see that there's a shred in everything I dislike out there, there's a shred of it in here, right? It's kind of a more advanced psychology principle, really, which is to say that if I see someone over here that I think's an asshole, they're probably helping me embrace my inner asshole a little more and learn to love it, that part of me. Okay, so consider this as an advanced move for you. And this is sort of a strategy that a lot of people don't think of. It's kind of unheard of when dealing with people, is to look in the mirror. Where am I difficult? How am I like this person? How am I actually the roadblock to this relationship improving? And again, we're not talking about blaming and shaming yourself, okay? That's totally not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just gaining self-awareness, which leads to personal empowerment over time, particularly if you see something about yourself and you're like, oh, that's kind of a challenging part of myself, right? Ooh, For example, when I first met my wife, or prior to meeting my wife, I had a real problem with women's emotions. Women are emotional. That's bad. So I was judging emotional, needy women. But the real issue, when I looked at it closely and I stopped making women wrong, I realized I had disowned my emotional bandwidth. I had disowned my own needs. I had disowned my feelings. And I was projecting my inner hatred of my feelings onto women. So they're a problem because they're triggering my disdain for my own self-hatred around emotions and feelings. So I want you to consider that, okay? The advanced move here again, the unheard of move, is to look in the mirror when you're dealing with difficult people, because chances are you have something to learn about yourself, which I think is pretty cool on the personal growth path, all right? Finally, we want to take really good care of ourselves. So this means, and I think this is the 4th or 5th tip here, I can't remember, is we are going to set boundaries. And you want to get really good at setting fierce boundaries with difficult people. So this could be a family member that's a pain in the ass. This could be a coworker or a neighbor. I'm not available for that. Thank you for, whatever, and I'm not available. No, I won't do that. No, I'm not available for a conversation anymore. I tried and I'm not available any longer. So you ratchet up your boundaries to the point where, the degree of difficult person, because there's some people who, like on the extreme narcissistic side, they won't change and can't change and will never change. So then it's about, you might have to cut them out of your life forever because they are so toxic. And we want to, after we've learned about ourselves and we've tried to dialogue and all the things, sort of the final step is to set a fierce boundary. And some people will ask me over the years, well, yeah, but they just keep contacting me. They just come over to my house. And I'm like, call the cops. Call the fucking cops. Get a restraining order on this person. Okay, you have to ratchet up your boundary so that they get the message, because boundaries are communicated on more of a subconscious level. It's more the animal that's setting the boundary. People don't respect boundaries until they feel you firmly planted in it, like you mean business, like you will never flinch. And that can be really scary to do with a family member, for example, or an ex, especially if you still have to have contact with kids. If you've got an ex-spouse you're dealing with and you have kids and you share custody together, I get it. But you can set boundaries around certain things. I will only talk logistics with you. I am not available for any other conversations about this. You get to do that. Okay, this is your life. So hopefully these tips dealing with difficult people are going to help you. Remember, the old game here, the immature game, is difficult people should go away. They should stop bothering me. Right? You see this in privileged cities like Boulder. The homeless people should just go away and stop messing up my beautiful town. It's like, no, people don't just go away. Okay, traumatized children who turn into homeless people as adults and addicts don't just go away. This is a problem. What are we going to do about it, right? How are we going to dialogue to see if we can find a solution here in our cities or our towns with difficult people? Politicians are difficult. You can't get rid of them, right? So what are you going to do so that you're moving out of complaint and resentment and into a place of, I'm going to use this entire bullshit mess here to get stronger and wiser as a human, right? Okay, so start seeing all your triggers and judgments as an opportunity for you to grow and learn more about yourself. That way you can't lose. You might lose the relationship, but you don't want to lose the relationship in here, all right? You want to keep flexing and liking yourself more, respecting yourself more, right? In the face of adversity and difficult people. Okay, if this has been helpful, please like this, comment below. I love your comments. Subscribe to my channel, share with a friend, and we'll see you in the next video.